Stereo test. Left channel. Right channel.
Well, as you join us at the Lennon Stadium, Central Stadium, for the games of the 22nd Olympiad, following a day that has been dull, cool and overcast, the sun has broken through and there is blue sky above for the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. We are 10 minutes away from the commencement of the opening ceremony. The bands, the orchestra and the choir are in position for the ceremony. The torch is now leaving the town hall in Moscow for the last part of its journey to the Olympic Stadium to ignite the flame which will burn over the stadium for the next 16 days. The flame that was lit in Greece on June 19 and since then has been carried by 5,000 different runners, each running 1 kilometre. The route of the torch has brought it from Greece through Bulgaria, Romania and through the republics of the Soviet Union. It arrived in Moscow yesterday afternoon and overnight it was held in the Moscow Soviet of People's Deputies, and now it's travelling along Gorky Street, one of the main thoroughfares of Moscow, through Marx Prospect, and then will come into this grand arena of the Central Lennon Stadium. And that's the situation at the moment, and we are just a few minutes away from the commencement of the official opening ceremony of the Games of the 22nd Olympiad. The Olympic Games opening ceremony is an event which heralds the start of the Olympic competitions, and the first competition gets underway tomorrow. Moscow has worked pretty hard to give the impression that it is an international city for the period of these games. Coming out to the stadium today, it was interesting to note that I did not see one Soviet flag, no billboards of slogans, and indeed not one picture of Lenin. The city is bedecked in the Olympic colours and with the Olympic emblem, and of course Mishka, who is the mascot for the games. And indeed, passing the Kremlin, there was one Russian flag only on display. You notice on the arena that the officials have taken up their positions. The arena is covered with a special carpet which has markings on it, not only for the athletes in that formal part of the ceremony, but also for the special dancing and gymnastics display which will follow the formal part of the opening ceremony. The Olympic Games opening ceremony employs an international language of symbols, colours and music. Its universal theme of sports and art really requires no translation. And in outlining this part of the Games program, the Olympic Charter takes into account the experience and traditions of the Olympic opening ceremonies from the time of ancient Greece up to the present occasion. However, each particular opening ceremony is unique, reflecting the spirit of the times and the cultural and sports traditions of the host city. In Moscow, the ceremonial opening of the 22nd Olympic Games is in the main stadium of the Luzhniki complex, and that is the main central stadium, a stadium which was built about 25 years ago and for these games has been remodeled, although the exterior walls remain unaltered. We're looking into the VIP area of the stadium where Leonid Brezhnev will be seated in just a few moments.
The official start of the games will be at 4 o'clock here Moscow time, which is 3.5 minutes away now, and that will be the chimes of the Kremlin, and that in fact will officially signal the beginning of the opening ceremony. There is to be one change only between this ceremony virtually and the ceremony to close the games, and we're told that the United States flag will be flown for the closing ceremony.
There's one section of the grandstand here which is housing quite a group of Australians. There's about 150 of them over there, and included in them are several Australian officials and some Australian athletes who are not marching today. The athletes who are not marching are those who are competing tomorrow and on Monday, and on the advice of the team management, those athletes are not marching today.
на торжественное открытие игр 22-й Олимпиады прибыл председатель Президиума Верховного Совета Союза Советских Социалистических Республик Леонид Ильич Брежнев.
column will be a reminder of the origin of the games, ancient Greece, as they parade the Olympic emblem, the 5 rings. Recreation of the ancient Greek quadrigas.
Вспоминаю гул восхищения на трибунах. В наш век на олимпийских аренах не бывало такого шествия. Античные одежды, курильницы с благовониями, квадриги.
В этом торжественном шествии величественных колесниц дань уважения нашего древней земле Эллады, дань благородному спорту, не ведающему границ, вечному и прекрасному духу Олимпиады.
A tribute from the city of Moscow to Greece. There are 5,000 athletes across there, each one with 20 coloured cards, and they will produce more than 200 different patterns throughout the opening and closing ceremonies. Girls are strewing rose petals on the way of the Olympians.